So, Shaman King episode 20, where to begin? Perhaps it would be best if I say I was actually surprised. Last week on episode 19 I have said this episode was kinda meh, and since it's a double-parter, I'd be surprised if next week isn't meh either. And yes, I was surprised. This episode was really good. Part of that is because I had completely forgotten about Chocolov's past, so the story struck me harder than it normally would. And the other part is, well, it was actually a better animated episode as well, with a whole lot more variety. But yeah, as I said, I would welcome a surprise, and I have received my surprise. I am genuinely happy over here. Despite making these episodes a bit later than I should, I'm still 1 week behind. And it won't probably fix itself until I return back to Austria and have my own schedule, etc. But yeah, who cares about that? Let's start with the episode. Well, the Mexican guy is... he is absolutely Mexican. As I said last week or the week before, you know, a whole lot of these characters that appear in Shaman King, they are stereotypical. Perhaps that's a strong word, you know. As I said back then, they are trying to emphasize their differences in culture, so I really like the fact that some of them are stereotypical, not in a bad way, so I don't mind it all that much, although I generally don't mind it all that much in general anyways. But again, yes, the guy is Mexican. That much is clear. But the fight itself, it is not the focus of the episode. They spent a whole lot of time, 12 or 13 minutes, more than half of the episode, to Chocolov's entire backstory, and that was absolutely lovely. You know, I'm one of those people who doesn't care about Chocolove, but goddamn, that backstory I do care about, and that was beautiful. You know, as with every other thing in the series being directed towards a more younger audience, there's not much subtlety going on around, and the message is basically just, hey, being a negative person never helps anything, try being a bit more positive and that'll probably help. But you know, I say this in my Sonic game reviews as well. When it's directed at a younger audience, I do not mind these kinds of messages being so in your face. Of course, being a 25-year-old person watching Shaman King right now, I just gloss over them. But you know, messages being directed at the correct demographic, that is important, that is nice. I'll tell you what's also nice. Watching this entire thing 20 years later after the original anime, and we do have actual guns in the show. Who would have thought? 4Kids crew, where are you? Yeah, Chocolove's switch from being a gangsta killer person into a mellow, very likable person, it is a bit sudden, I'll say that much, but I think that's the point they're really trying to bang anyway, so I can't complain all that much, you know. It's the laughter that saves people, it's the wind of the laughter that saves people, and Chocolove here, that sudden change, that is the sign of it. No matter how much he wants to refuse at that point, he is actually being healed by that wind of laughter. And yeah, regardless of the shitty or cringe jokes that are being made throughout the entire episode, it still saddens me so much how that narrative of that old man is progressing and eventually just dying out. It does hit hard, even though he's a character we just met a couple minutes ago. But I'll tell you something, what doesn't hit hard, and that's because of my own personal background with Shaman King, is Chocolove. He's still not among my favorite characters. I cannot relate to him throughout the episode, even despite his backstory being so well adapted and so nicely shown, solely because, you know, in the back of my mind, I still compare this to the original anime adaptation, where we had met Chocolove about, what did Val say, about 10 or so episodes before this instance. So, you know, 10 episodes of him being cringe and nobody even reacting. And then, when we return back to the actual shaman fight that's going on, when he comes with that well, not exactly triumphant joke, I would say it's still a shit joke, but he wins over the crowd that he intended to with his joke. That's a really triumphant moment for Chocolove himself, you know, he actually got the target audience that he was going for. Whereas here, it is kind of bogged down in my opinion by the fact that we just met Chocolove so recently, and we have been fed all of this in the span of past 2.5 episodes, let's say. It doesn't ruin anything at all, it just holds back the possible impact it would have had otherwise if we had known Chocolove for a bit longer. But then again, that was one of the main strength points of the original adaptation. I can't blame this one all that much for not going that route, because they are adapting what they have a bit fast, but they are adapting what they have rather than inserting a shit ton of character moments that would build up characters quite nicely. Like, you know, another product being better in a certain aspect does not make this one any less worse than what it should have been. I'll put it that way. But yeah, at the end of it, Chocolove is just completely out of Furuyoku, and this is the point where the rules that were stated in the previous episode get a little bit of muddled, because when someone is out of their spirit control from their integration, you know, it's out. When a team is completely out, they are out. And if we look at Ren, he wasn't exactly in spirit control in any sense of the word. So when Chocolove ran out, they should have been out. But hey, it's a shonen show, he probably still had spirit control even though it was not animated. Horohoro on the side, he also has something going on, because, you know, that's how it is. And of course, Ren's power being explained, you know, explanations are nice, because he stared into the Great Spirit. When you explain it that way, that is not so nice, but I'll give it a pass, you know? Trying to explain something, that's a plus in my book. And the way he just throws Chocolove onto Horohoro saying, "You didn't do anything, at least thank him," that's a lovely character moment right there. And then we have the teaser at the end with Lyserg in his X-Law's uniform and a certain iron torture device that is meant for a specific maiden is being lowered from a ship, and that's all I'm gonna say. Overall, absolutely great episode, despite the fact that it's completely about a character I could not care less about, so that should tell you how great the episode was. It really was a good Shaman King episode in my book. I can't say anything else. And next week, that's tomorrow because I'm too late making this video, it is the introduction of Iron Maiden Jean, with that title, of course. That is not subtle at all. But when do we ever get subtlety in Shaman King anyways? I am absolutely looking forward to Iron Maiden Jean, because, well, due to her specific nature, I can say she was quite butchered in the 4Kids version that I used to love. And then I read the manga, and I am looking forward to seeing Iron Maiden Jean in her proper form and in her proper behavior. You'll probably get what I mean in the next episode, and I will see you all then. Until then, stay cool.